It is really happening. And what people called conspiracy, what people called fraud, what people called use for money laundering is now going to be their new financial system. And I think what's important is to understand, if you watch my channel since 2020, is when they tell you to look this way, there's always another narrative going on this way. And I'm here to tell you that this is nothing new under the sun. If you study the right people, you'll understand that the tide goes in, the tide goes out. Markets go up, markets go down. And within the excitement, there'll be people getting you hyped up, thinking you're going to become a multimillionaire in the shortest period of time. And you'll get wrecked 100% of the time. But here's the good news. If you pull yourself to a 30,000-foot overview and you look back at history and study people like Ray Dalio, The Changing World Order, you study people like Robert Kiyosaki, Kathy Woods, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, study books like An Intelligent Investor, Cash Flow Quadrant, Think and Grow Rich, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Wisdom of King Solomon, The Richest Man in Babylon, you'll understand that there's just a wave of energy. It's just a cycle. There's booms, there's busts, there's ups, there's downs. And the greatest thing you can do is figure out how to ride the cycles. Here's the thing. Money compounds every 7 years at 10%. Write that down. Einstein, the eighth wonder of the world. Money compounds every 7 years at 10%. But there's a moment in time where new asset classes come out, new technologies come out, where it throws that cycle out of the water. And you can compound money in a very short amount of time, but it will always come back to homeostasis. That's how nature works. So here's the thing. Understand that this is happening. The banks that told you it's a fraud are now going to be begging you to allocate some of your portfolio into things like Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, the ETFs. The top three are going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. I believe Bitcoin and XRP will be number one and number two. There's going to be many different technologies that come in. They're going to rewire the financial payment system. They're going to rewire the infrastructure of the financial system. And this isn't happening financially. This is happening spiritually, mentally, and physically. And by 2030, your system is going to be unrecognizable. Here's why. From 2006 to about 2022, I would say, it was humans doing this. And now it's humans mixed with AI technology. Call it good, call it bad, it's reality. And what took about 10 years is now going to take about 2 years. And in about 2 years, what takes 2 years is going to take 6 months. And in about 3 years, what takes 6 months is going to take 30 days. So here's what we've done. And then I'll show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Not only have we rewired our own personal financial ecosystem, but we did it at a company level. I created a treasury for my companies. We store 20% of our profits into digital assets like Bitcoin, XRP, and cash generating dividends that are allocated into the cryptocurrency industry or companies that are in the cryptocurrency industry. My job as a CEO is to decrease the enterprise value of my company. And I feel and I see the wave of energy coming. Now, we will only be able to predict if I'm right in the next 10 years. I predicted this stuff in 2020 to 2025, and we nailed it. And I truly believe that if you sit back, get out of the emotion, and you understand that bull run number one is your learning lesson. Bull run number two, which will be 28, 29, and 2030 as we transition the new system, will be your wealth system. And then bull run number three will be your generational wealth system. It's about creating ecosystems. For me, it's cash flow. Cash is trash. Transmuting my cash flow into deflationary assets that have fixed supply, hence things like Bitcoin and XRP that are opposite of the inflationary dollar. I use protection, cash value life insurance. When this category profits, I move it into cash value life insurance. I hold my Bitcoin forever. I exit 50% of my altcoins, all other coins. Like I said, I stuff it into cash value life insurance. Why? Because it's number four. I hold my Bitcoin forever, which is leverage. I use my digital assets, hence Bitcoin, and my insurance to borrow to richest man in Babylon, borrow at 5%. Okay. And then you multiply that money. The key, what I want you to get out of that is you have to have a system. It's not about waiting for an asset to go to 1,000, 2,500, 20,000. It's about having discipline, consistency, done for a long enough period of time to access that paradigm. Because here's a fact. Jim Rohn said you can give $1 million to every person in society. It's going to end up in the same hands. All right, let's get into the facts, figures, numbers, logic. On the back end of every video, I share with you exactly what I'm doing. Okay, this is how far we've come. We went from the old regime, which was completely anti-crypto, to the new regime, 100% pro-crypto, moving as fast as they can to get into the banks.
Financial Services Committee Chairman French Hill is calling for crypto market structure legislation to be passed into law before the U.S. loses ground to Latin America and Europe. Chairman Hill joins us this morning. Mr. Chairman, it's good to see you. And I would ask you, what are you asking for? But all you got to say is you're asking for what's in that bill that the Senate is sitting on, right? There's a bill ready to go that would accomplish what you're asking for.
You bet, Joe. Good morning. Great to be with you. Happy 30th anniversary to the Squawk.
Thank you.
Glad to be on. Exactly right. We passed in the House in July the Clarity Act, which got 78 Democratic votes, meaning we had a strong bipartisan vote over the suspension of vote level in the House, meaning more than 290 members came together to vote for the Clarity Act, which is that market framework which will make America the most competitive digital asset nation in the world.
Boom. So that's what we're waiting for, is the Clarity Act. Okay. This isn't your grandparents' economy. This isn't your parents' economy. Okay. Digital assets, cryptocurrency are your new financial system. Okay. Stop listening to people telling you that Bitcoin's not going to zero, that XRP is going to go to zero. You have to study the infrastructural change. Cryptocurrency will be at your local bank within the next 24 months. I promise you. Okay. Tom Emmer posted this. It was a pleasure to moderate the panel discussion today on the future of digital asset policy. Our goal is clear. We must get the Clarity Act to Trump's desk ASAP. Okay. Charles Hoskinson posted this. Great meeting today, XRP Nation. The Ripple folks did really well as AZ16Z. A lot more work to do, but great progress is being made on the bipartisan legislation being passed this year. Ripple, Charles Hoskinson, so Brad Garlinghouse hanging out at the White House in Washington, moving things forward. Latest, Coinbase sent a letter urging the DOJ, Department of Justice, to ensure uniform, fair crypto regulation across states. Today, UK, this a couple days ago, to strengthen ties with US crypto on cryptocurrency and digital assets, with the deal expected to specifically include stablecoins and closer regulatory alignment, FT reports. Cointelegraph posted this. The US House is pushing to add a CBDC ban. This is where that separation comes. There's going to be the CBDC side, controlled side, and there's going to be the decentralized side. Okay. They are pushing in America. Trump is pushing to ban central bank digital currencies, which is awesome. This was huge. Just in, SEC proves generic ETF listing standards, clearing path for digital asset listing without individual approval. Oh, this is getting better and better. Latest, SBI. We know SBI, Ripple. I think it's 60-40 split. I think it's 40%, or I think it's 40% Ripple, 60% SBI. So SBI is connected to Ripple. Latest SBI Shinshai team with Partior, my dyslexia, Decurrent on tokenized cross-border trials. This came out this morning. DBS, Franklin Templeton, and Ripple partnered to launch trading and lending solutions powered by tokenized money market funds, RLUSD stablecoin. Oh, it just keeps going, guys. This is Monica Long, okay, of Ripple. In order to tokenize financial assets to solve the problems they've been promising to solve, we need both 1, liquid secondary markets, and 2, utility for these assets, such as with collateralization. That's exactly what Ripple, DBS Bank, and FTI Global are working towards with this announcement. Buckle up, Buttercup. Bank of America says the entire U.S. banking industry will embrace crypto payments. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So here we are. So this is the current markets. You guys know I'm the owner and co-founder of Merlin, smartest way to track your crypto. And I say it's the safest way to track your crypto as well. This is an interface. Okay. When I'm traveling, I use Merlin. Okay. Because if I'm connecting to Wi-Fi, I do not look at my exchanges. I keep my crypto very, very safe. when I'm traveling, I look at Merlin because it's an interface. So not only can you see all your cryptos in one place, we created this, you can see all your exchanges in one place, but you can set up an exit plan where we alert you when you're getting close. You can be present with your family. Okay. The markets are currently right now going up, which is awesome. We're at a 4 trillion market cap. We got Bitcoin at 117,000, ETH at 4,600, XRP at $3.13. The Fed's lowered interest rates yesterday, which was not as bullish as we thought. That was baked in 0.25%. But the bullishness was that the fact that they're probably going to lower rates pretty dramatically because the housing market is stagnant and the job markets are stalling. So if they continue to lower interest rates as we go into October, November, December, you got the ETF approvals, you should see a very, very big bull market on the back end. But here's what I'll tell you is that I don't believe these influencers are just saying we're just going to keep going up in 2026, 2027. You're going to have a bear market. Okay. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I expect these markets to pull back in 2026. I do not manage my portfolio off hope. I do it off strategy. Okay. Bitcoin, I'm never selling. We'll break this down. So just to let you guys know. So if you need help setting up an exit plan, go down below to my description of my video, download Merlin. Okay. It's 30 days for free. You can try it before you buy it. Go to my social media platform, click We're So Confident. You can play with it for 30 days. If you don't like it, you can just cancel. We show you how to set up an exit plan, and you click right here. My team will actually talk to you physically and we can help you get started. Okay. So we got your back. That's down below in my social media platform or in my social media platform. Okay. So there's no emotion in this for me. Okay. I actually like the bear market better. So I'm a Warren Buffett style investor in crypto. I study Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett. They don't sit there and look at markets every day. They're making big strategic decisions based on companies, based on their financials. Okay. One of their rules is the company worth over $100 million. Can they measure that? Is it going to be here in the future? Are people going to use the technology? Right. And they're always looking to create cash flow. Right. They make $1 million a day off Coca-Cola. Okay. Go look what the CEO makes per year. They probably make more than the CEO in 1 month than he makes in his whole yearly salary. Would you rather be the CEO of Coca-Cola or Warren Buffett? I would rather be Warren Buffett. Okay. So what I have is a very solid portfolio that's allocated into payment rails, into layer one, which is the infrastructure, into supply chain, into store of value, things like Bitcoin. So here's my portfolio. XRP is number one by a long shot, and it will always be that way. Bitcoin is number two. That's my store of value like gold, and I actually leverage it to buy cash generating assets, dividends. Okay. Number three is Solana. I'm going to continue to build that layer one portfolio. Number four, it's either XLM or HBAR. I always mix it up. So I think would be XLM and HBAR. They're number 4 and number 5. So XLM, HBAR, VeChain, and World Liberty Financials quickly climbing up the ranks there. That probably will, my goal is to get that into the number 4 spot. So my top 4, probably in the next, it depends on cash flow and things like that. It's going to be XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, probably WLFI, HBAR. I believe in Trump's DeFi platform. I believe in what he's doing. I can measure his success as a businessman, and he's going to win. He's going to win. He's working to dismantle the central bank, just my opinion. Okay. So that's my crypto ecosystem. Okay. So I have 4 things I focus on: cash flow. I believe cash is trash. I transmute it into deflationary assets, fixed supply assets like Bitcoin and XRP. And I use cash value life insurance. I like to have my own family bank. I like to be able to use my own leverage. And then on 4 is leverage. I have Bitcoin bank and I have an insurance bank. So here's exactly how I do it. Okay. So we're heading into the back end of the year, which will be a bull market. I set exit targets. Bitcoin's off to the side. I calmly exit on the way up. I don't believe in just watching markets go up and go down. I actually exit. So 50% I'm holding of all the coins, I'm holding 50%. There'll be some small caps that I'm closing out of, but if you're in my academy, I break all that stuff down. Okay. As it goes up, I exit calmly on the way up. So for example, my first target for XRP was $2.70. I had been buying it since 17 cents. Trump got elected. I hit my first target. I calmly took 10% of 50% of my portfolio. My next target is $5. That next target, I believe, is, I don't have it in front of me. I think it's 15 or 25% of the 50%. I think it might be, yeah, it's 10, 25, 25, 15. Yeah, so it's a hamburger. So then I'll take 25 at $5 of 50%. I'm holding 50% forever, okay? Then the next target is in between 7 and 10. I'll kind of just judge that. I won't let it go above 10 without taking 25%. My next target is 14. That's a moonshot, right? I don't believe it's going to go to 1,000, 2,500, 10,000 in the next 6 months. If it does, I'm 1,000% okay with being wrong. But these influencers that are saying this are correct in regards to the catalyst. I 100% believe in what they're saying, and they're very articulate, smart people. If the catalyst happened that they're explaining all at the same time and all the stars align, hell yeah, it's going to go to those prices. It has the potential to do that 1000%. I understand the technology, and they're right in regards to that. The likelihood of that all aligning in the next 6 months, think about the history of Ripple. The SEC sued them for 5 years. It makes no sense that they got sued for 5 years. The case of the ETFs will probably get delayed. You'll get disappointed and you'll get fudded out. You'll panic sell, right? That's how the system works. It's a person who can stay in the market the longest gets the richest. But I'm 1000% for you coming back on this video and be like, you were wrong. Yes. That means we're all right. That'd be awesome. But so my moonshot target is 14. Okay, does that make sense? So when I pull, now I'm in cash. It's trash. They're going to lower interest rates. It's worth 3 cents since 1913. It went from $1 down to 3 cents buying power. Okay, they deflated your dollar almost 96, 97%. So I transmuted into cash value life insurance. I fill those buckets. Now I have a leverage component. It's all about beating the hurdle rate. I can leverage at 5%. If I leverage at 5% for the year, what if I go buy a dividends producing 20%? What did I beat the hurdle rate by? 15%. I use the dividend to pay off the leverage. The leverage is paid off. Now I have free cash flow over here. That's called richest man in Babylon. I'm always transmuting money, always growing my money. Remember, money compounds every 7 years at 10%, unless you start compounding it by moving it, creating a brother and sister. So if you make money, what's your first goal? You need to save 10%. Okay, that 10% shouldn't sit there. It should make a brother or sister. So now you're beating hurdle rates. So now you're not compounding money every 7 years at 10%. You're compounding money every couple of years at whatever percentage you're making, beating the hurdle rate. Does that make sense? Because if everything in the system is debt, then you have to beat inflation and the interest that you're paying. That's the trap they got you in. They control you through interest rates, taxation, and inflation. If they don't get you through taxes, they'll lower taxes, they raise inflation. So rich, wealthy people are not inflation sensitive. They're not interest rate sensitive. Okay. When rates go up, they can buy all these houses because they can afford it, right? Warren Buffett's not worried about how much gas prices are. He's waiting for the markets to collapse so he can buy your fear. So we have to get in that mentality now. You have to get out of the emotion. Okay. You can't just keep asking, will $1,000 in Xrp make me wealthy? I don't know. Are you wealthy here? Are you wealthy here? Do you have the discipline, consistent activities? Are you reading the right books? Are you rewiring the brain so that when you do, say it does go to the prices you think it's going to go to and you're a multi-millionaire, are you going to be able to manage that money? Or are you going to buy Lambos and houses? I mean, you saw it the last bull run. People got really wealthy and they were trying to survive in the bear market and they lost everything. We built empires and we're going to continue to build, and we want to build with you. Okay. So if you made it this far, I love you. Comment warrior. Love you guys very, very much. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. Love you guys.